Hello, and welcome back to On to the Next Thing. I'm Michael.
And I'm Calista.
That's right, classic episode, Michael and Calista. You might have thought it was going to be For the Boys Part 3. You were wrong. We're keeping it light and loose, as Calista said, or maybe not said.
Okay.
I'm still going to attribute that
I
to you.
didn't say that. It was you, but that's
Incomprehensible. Incomprehensible, but I think that works for this. Jesus. The cats, as... This is the third time trying to record this, and the cats are still destroying the studio in real time.
One's about to do its thing, you know.
One's about to take a shit in the studio. It's a leased space. It's a full-time cat bathroom and
part-time
studio.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got some. You know, we got a wealth of relatively easygoing topics. Still getting the podcast back on the rails, getting on a good recording schedule. But as usual, we're gonna start out with some bird news, and we got some good bird news. I always do good bird news actually, because the bad bird news is always the fact that there's bird flu going around. And are you watching the cat? Why would you?
I was wondering if you could hear it because sometimes you can hear it.
You're supposed
trickling.
to maintain eye contact with the microphone in order for it to record.
You just left
right.
it. Okay.
Why? Okay.
No burying, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine.
Things are changing in cat evolution.
Cats don't bury shit anymore.
They don't bury their piss either.
That's cool.
Okay.
It don't matter. All right.
Don't matter.
So it's bird news time. Bad bird news, as always, bird flu. But there's always good bird news in the world, and we're going to find it. That's Reddit. This is bird news. Okay, so headline is another live bird crashes Peter Doocy's live shot on Fox News. Now, this is a piece of bird news that, as a bird news connoisseur, I should have covered about a month ago. Because Peter Doocy was, within the past month, attacked by another bird.
Oh my goodness.
During a live Fox News interview, coverage, live
Maybe
news
coverage. Yeah,
during some live news coverage. Apparently he's the senior White House correspondent.
Oh
That's
my
why
goodness! At the White House, he was attacked by a bird.
I guess really reported from the White House. Is that again? Okay, I didn't realize it was at the White House again. Reopen Alcatraz. That doesn't matter. Doocy. Wrapping up another White House.
Something like that, where
aggressive
it's like
birds.
A second bird attack at the White House. It's like the spirit of an older president just swooping in. Like the reincarnation of like John F. Kennedy just fucking swooping in. Just
Live report, a second bird has attacked Peter Doocy at the White House. Quote Peter Doocy, what's going on?
They just know.
And so it's like, as like live, live news personnel, they're supposed to kind of, keep things snappy, keep it, keep the show rolling, even if their live feed is being interrupted by birds. But this is how Fox News does off the cuff stuff in the field. There is a bird, he said while ducking for cover. I don't know. I need to shave my head. What's going on?
It's really
What
funny.
is going on?
Just know. Sometimes animals, there's a thing about where this is unscientific, and I don't know if any of this is based in facts, so don't quote me on this, but there's a saying about animals and how they can tell and assess character, and I feel like perhaps this bird may have done that at that moment and just wanted to act accordingly based on what it assessed.
Yeah.
What can you do? I guess shave, maybe.
Possibly a fan of MSNBC. Major Sky New major Skyline National Bird Stories. God damn
There's an L in that one, but...
No. Skyline's one
there's an
word,
L?
so that's the S. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah, Skyline's one word.
Okay.
That's 1 point for Michael.
Yeah, I guess. But,
All right. But yeah, he basically said there's a bird. I don't know how. I need to shave my head, which implies that his theory for the bird attacking is that the bird wants to make a nest in his hair, which, based on my recollection, is flat and greasy and not nest-like at all. Yeah. And in typical normal person response, the female anchor back in the studio says, "It's because you're so tall and so cute." And so this is telling me that this feels like roughly an approximation of the work culture of working at Fox News, where either you have to or are encouraged to call your ugly older male anchor cute when he's out in the field getting shit on by doves.
Peacekeeper doves.
I did.
So it was a dove.
I did assume it was a dove.
Okay.
That would just be because I got doves on the brain because in a current live nature cam that I've set up for Bird of the Day on our Instagram, there's been a lot of big fat mourning doves, and so I assume it's a dove, but they don't seem to identify the bird here. There's a bird. Yeah, once again, unidentified bird.
Well, let me see what he looks like just for a second.
I know. I wish it was
Peter Doocy, excuse me.
Peter Doocy, yeah.
Did he used to be an actor?
No, that's Peter Dinklage. And
no, I'm
Peter
not thinking
Dinklage
of that.
is
I'm not
3.5
thinking of
feet
that.
Tall and
I'm not thinking of him.
Handsome. This guy. He sort of looks like someone who used to be an actor.
Maybe he's like wearing something that the birds the smell.
Yeah, could be that. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised that they just don't bother to check if there's like a bird nest nearby, and so even
it's like they're shooting this during the day, right? Okay. If it's at night, it's like, hey, I'm trying to my kids are trying to sleep. What are you doing?
I tell you what. I tell you what.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe hair like that is attractive to birds, but I'd say probably more likely there's an actual nest. Yeah. Actual nest there.
It's crazy that there's, yeah.
Or you got a little bit too close to the
scientists who can
the bird
study
charging
the
station.
Birds.
The White House surveillance bird charging station.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I mean, well, they can't identify the species, so I'm gonna assume it's a drone bird.
Okay, then yeah, they're yep.
Yeah, fake.
That has to be it. If you can't get details like that, that's weird. Because you can see what type of bird it is, and
yeah, there's
something going on.
There's a story. There's a story here.
No, I was against it, but now I'm like, but it's actually quite easy to determine what bird it is based on like the birds in the area, and what types of birds exist in that greater, the DC metropolitan area. You can just determine, is it a pigeon? If it's not a pigeon, then like what bird is it, right?
Now it reminds me This reminds me of the behavior of.
CIA pigeon now, FBI pigeon.
It's just securing the perimeter from I guess intruders like Peter Doocy. But it reminds me of the behavior of like shorebirds, certain shorebirds like terns. Their primary way of defending their nests, because their nests are on the ground, like most stupid ass shorebirds that put their nests on the ground even though they're
evolution. You can't be mad.
I guess.
We're gonna have to cut that out because I called you so. Okay. It's their evolution. Okay, let's try it.
We're gonna bleep it out so
Ready?
It sounds confusing.
Let's start over. 1, 2, 3. It's their evolution. I genuinely think that you can't be mad at them because they started nesting on the ground. It's just how they were able to survive that way. So they're like, oh, let's just keep doing what's working.
Yeah, I mean, but what they do, sure, fine, whatever. I won't judge Darwin on this one, but
he was a weirdo.
And he created evolution.
Not to go on a tangent. He was like, he said weird stuff about birds. Like
he ate all the birds.
Really?
Well, no, okay. He didn't eat all the birds, but he usually would sample the taste of one of each species that he observed on the
weird.
Honestly, kind of closer,
how he would
closer to
describe
you.
them?
No, I was just gonna say
in a feminine way, like something like this reminds me of a woman. It's like I don't know.
He's a lonely guy.
Weird about this guy.
He was on this. Listen,
the Galapagos Islands of Ecuador, off of Ecuador.
Yeah. And so they're from England, so it's like it's a long trip, and apparently he got sent there to like make friends, because he didn't have a lot of friends back at home at his studies, and so his father kind of sent sent him out to go and like do some studying on this trip, and also to like make friends and like get some sunlight and shit, and basically succeeded on all those counts. But that's still some lonely time.
He
3
ate,
years.
first of all, he ate them.
No woman.
Which is he's had a puffin before, which is
Probably.
right. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably. Oh my
I think it's
God.
safe to assume.
He's definitely tasted.
I almost
puffin.
called him George Darwin. I don't know who George George Darwin. This is fucking shitty grandson.
Yeah. So and then he described them as like he would draw them in like not in dresses because that would be so ridiculous.
In lingerie.
No, but like he would draw them.
Swimsuits.
It would be weird and like
Topless.
no.
Blue-footed booby.
No.
Tufted
You know,
titmouse.
okay, it is what it is. He was just weird. But you know what? That's a part of science history that people don't talk about that. No one talks about this part of science history because it's so funny that like he was such a weirdo. Like, oh,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is some weird stuff. Not you eating it. What? Not you eating and also the turtles. Thought we had turtle. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's a weird guy. That's definitely
But
true.
there's
I'm
nothing
sorry.
wrong with eating turtle. It's just weird that you've studied the turtle and now you want to eat it. So it's
Yeah.
just a weird jump. It's a weird jump because that wouldn't be my first.
Are you sure?
I
feel like Charles
swear.
Darwin's a little bit closer to you than you
Does
think.
it taste?
You do, yeah. You do ask those questions. That's
I would
actually one of the
never.
first questions that you ask.
It's
Would that be tasty?
No, it's weird.
Hmm?
It's weird. I'm gonna say that's weird.
Calista the Gourmand.
I just find that odd and not scientific at all. But this is before like real science was taking place.
Yeah,
This
they were
is like
still, they were still
naturalists.
figuring out the
Right? He was like a
scientific method.
naturalist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back to bird news. We just went on a tangent about how weird Charles Darwin was as a person.
I was trying to think back to why we were talking about Charles Darwin. I was talking about shorebirds because the terns, to protect their,
and then we
their
went to
little ground
evolution.
nest,
Yes.
to protect their ground nest. It's because the terns they swarm about and they shit on anything that they swoop down and they like projectile shit on intruders to their nesting area, and so I think that I think that since he has experience in this, if they ever need an onshore correspondent for any
He can
reason,
do it. He'll know.
they need Peter Doocy there. Close that mouth. Close that mouth, buddy.
Oh God.
It's because you're so cute
Keep
and
your
tall
eyes closed.
and handsome.
Cover your nose and close that mouth, and you'll
You're
be all set.
You're tall and cute like a tree.
Like, what does that even mean? Anyway, that's a little bird news for you. Okay. Next time, I think we can go right into our media recommendations
Yeah.
for the week or week and a half, something like that, since the last episode came out. Sorry, my bad. Only employee of the company, so.
It's not even a company.
It's
There's no LLC.
Yeah, well, I
There's
wrote
no corporation.
LLC next to my ideas in the notebook where I write down things like bird
Okay.
news in all caps.
No.
I wrote a little.
So you have a tax filing?
I wrote a TM next to bird news, and I
Oh,
write it
okay,
next to
yeah.
every time there's
Okay.
bird news.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. My point is, sorry about that, but got a lot of recommendations. Because I finally finished the Three Musketeers. And but I've already talked a lot about the Three Musketeers. I've been over it. Do you like history? Do you like adventure? Do you like hanging out with the boys and like drinking and I don't know, being fucking mercenaries? Then you're gonna like Three Musketeers. That's all there is to it.
Cool. It's like the original like war film. No.
I'm gonna
Really?
I'm gonna let you redo that one.
It's like the original. What's a movie where there's mercenaries? You know what? There's not many. There's not many. There's not many about.
No, but I mean, like they're like
the original Fast and Furious.
I
Low key.
kind of. They are kind of like
Low-key.
family. All
Exactly.
for one for all.
Exactly.
Except by the time of like Fast and the Furious 5, it's like the fucking 14 Musketeers. And,
Yeah, but it's
and
the same
also
concept of,
3
like-
women are there too.
And it's not Robin Hood, but they all have their vices, so it's not like they're taking from the rich.
Yeah. No, they're just kind of like, they're like mercenaries, but instead of fighting for money, they find money whenever they can, but they really just fight for honor.
I would love.
And
I
like,
wouldn't
for
love
glory.
to live in this
more
society.
glory more than honor.
I think
No,
about
I don't
how,
think so.
of course not, but I'm thinking about like how ungovernable people were back then for glory to be the purpose of your actions and not like
Yeah.
corporate like making money for shareholders. It's like, you know what my life purpose is? Glory. And that's it.
Glory, doing cool shit.
And that's
And
all I need to do.
That's
and
the
that's
privilege.
like
That's
really
the privilege
cool.
of the nobility who weren't getting married off. This is usually like a thing. Like the setting is like, number one, it's like kind of towards the end of a big religious civil war in France, and so it's like being someone who knows how to fight people
Useful.
and is willing to commit a lot of violence. That's like a good thing in this society.
Yeah.
And then it's like musketeer business. It's a good thing for like, you know, second and third sons who aren't gonna get married off to like other houses, and then they can just go and fight war for money and make a name for themselves and maybe get their own property or their own income, so they aren't just fucking hanging around the manor and shit. But
Okay, so you finished the Three Musketeers.
yeah, finished that one. I've also been. The next day I finished a book called The Hollow Kind.
You finished that?
Yeah, I finished
Wow.
it. I'm gonna go very fast read. Don't want to spoil it too much.
I'm not shocked by that, by the way.
Spooky Southern Gothic horror.
Oh, probably good
Horror
for
novel.
related to Southern Gothic sitters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just
So
kind of
that's
like
pretty
Sinners.
cool.
So it's like
Yeah,
actually kind
I've
of
been trying to get into books like that too. I mean,
kind of
that
running
genre
in-
is really cool.
Yeah, running into the theme here. But yeah, I do tend to like Southern Gothic because as a little wussy Northerner, the South is automatically kind of scary. Yeah, Yankee. That's
There
a
we
good
go.
one. Yeah. As a stuck up elitist Yankee, the South is already kind of scary to me to start. And the South's pretty scary in general. There's a lot of poverty.
There's a lot of lore.
Poverty's scary. Mythology's scary.
There's poverty everywhere.
History is pretty scary, and
History
so that's
is
sort of,
very scary.
and
We
the
have our friend
repercussions of
Charles
that history.
Darwin just eating up animals on the Galapagos.
No, hey, that was like 500
Okay.
miles away. Although he definitely would
It's
have ate an
still
alligator
weird.
if he made it to Louisiana.
Granted, I will say it's not weird.
That he wanted to fuck birds.
No, if it's what's there,
like
then that's
Peter
what's
Doocy.
there. You eat it. No. Yeah. So getting into media.
That bird wants to mate you
Continue.
because you're so cute.
Sorry.
So getting into media. So now that we're getting into media,
Yes.
I was able to see Sinners over a couple weeks ago, and it was fantastic. That movie was so great. Like, I really thought, I love when an actor can play twins really well. And one thing I noticed, there's like a million different deep dives that people have put out because it's so jam packed with like every clip has a purpose and it has like an intention, which is great. They never explicitly say that like I'm the twin who's this. This is also spoiler, so if you haven't seen it, it is what it is. Sorry, but I'm the twin who's this. I'm the twin who's that. They literally just use colors to show that they're different. Like you now know who is
Just
who.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. We're not going to be like, my name is Harry, my name is blah. Like, this is me and this is that. It's like,
Yeah, what was
I'm
that
the blue one and I'm the red one.
What was the one
Bye.
that Tom Hardy did where he was like
Oh,
he was like
man.
both of, not the Shelbys, he was like the gangsters
I know
that
you
came
mean.
after him.
Yeah.
And they were like British mafia, which
Yeah, I remember.
I don't think should have been a thing.
And then also
but-
in The Monkey, also, Theo James played him twins.
Oh yeah.
And also in Mickey 17.
Yeah, that's
That
kind
is
of
so-
like
yeah.
twins too. A lot of twins
Twins
movies
movies.
coming out.
Well, yeah. Yeah, actually, those were pretty recent. The last, The other one was like maybe like mid 2010s, but still. Early 2010s.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. I remember watching it like at home, so I would mid 2010s.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Man, yeah, twins.
Mhm.
25 2025.
Yeah, twins.
Year of
Yeah.
the twins. In
Really
film.
great film, and honestly, I think it's hard to hate. It's hard to hate that film with such like limited original content out there that's like really high quality production. It's a really great film. It's succinct and so entertaining, and I enjoy that it goes where it goes. I enjoy that there is really no happy ending really, but there is. And so it's just like, you
But
know,
yet it's sort of satisfying.
Yeah, it's
Sort of a
satisfying.
satisfying ending.
there's no need for a sequel. There's no need for whatever, you know.
Even though I'd be happy to watch more movies in that universe.
Like Blade, like if well, not like Blade. That's stylistically different, obviously.
Those are sequels.
Okay. But yeah, it was a great film. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
The music was unreal.
Yeah, the use of music both as part of the plot and as the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Using music as a soundtrack, genius. I know, but it's the
Still, yeah.
music in the soundtrack is also the music that is a major part of the plot.
And another thing I remember thinking and realizing now is that I'm kind of shocked that there hasn't been a movie film about like blues music and the devil. As someone who's like had a music education of some sort, like that's one of the most fundamental like music history like modules you'll be taught if you're learning about like the history of music or like jazz and stuff like that.
Like the devil.
The crossroads, and like and
that
you know
blues guy.
yeah, and
Right.
it's literally in there, and how, you know, it's amazing. And I remember I watched so many different deep dives. Some of them are just like, this may be not true and far-fetched and unreal. Other ones I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize it. Like, for example, when the harmonica player guy was in the car talking about how he knew one of the people in the chain gang.
Mm-hmm.
And how he was talking about the sorrow he had in his heart, and how he was like hitting his chest and like started humming, and how that's like a representation of like how the blues came to be. It just came out of the sadness of people's existence, and singing about that.
It also came out of work songs as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like that is insane to see, like to not to see in like real time, but to actually understand like that's a part of the history of that art form. Like it's literally, that's a part of how it just formed, like, which is so insane to just show that in real time. But that's also a modem of the story itself, talking about how like the freeness of black art and black people, and like were they ever really free, in that like it's a kind of a foreshadowing too. It's like it didn't end up well because, you know, all that. It's really good. It's a really great film. Yeah.
I will say
too many spoilers.
part of what also makes it impressive is that when you're trying to make like a fast pace and also like entertaining but also impactful historical like period piece type of film, like it can be very good, or it can go the other way and just be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And so already it not being a mess when you're having a plot that's that
They
fast
just come
paced.
back from Germany.
And
No, they had. I wonder if they were Prohibition era or not.
The twins,
Yeah, they came from Chicago,
the main protagonists.
but they were at the war.
Yeah,
they were in World War II.
Yeah, they were in the end of World War One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've been around.
Prohibition. When did that take place?
That was in the 20s. So this
It was
was
before
just
that.
out of Prohibition. So this is 1932. I think
Okay.
it's set in. So the beginning of the Depression,
Mm-hmm.
or like a couple of years into the Depression. And so yeah, already.
I will say, here's my one thing. There is a plot hole, in my opinion. The daughter of the grocery store owners. We never get maybe we're not meant to get. Maybe it's not a plot hole, so I'm gonna take it back. We don't get really any update on Shorty. We get no information on what happened to her, and maybe we're not meant to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it was.
Because both of her parents perished. And so we're just like, what happened
and I think
to her?
the point was that they like she was saved because, spoiler, all the vampires, they were gonna go there after.
Mm-hmm, to the town.
Yeah, and so they didn't get to go to the town, so she's fine. Well, as fine as an orphan can be.
Exactly.
But
that's what I was thinking. Like, she's not. Her parents are not coming back. They left one night and now they're gone forever.
yeah.
And I don't know if there's any historical implication about that. If that's like something, I may have to do more research on it because I'm just like, that's. I don't know why he made that choice.
It's not really a plot hole. It's
just
more
like
just kind of a thing that's not really addressed.
Maybe it's
But
just
that
like
sucks. But also
the nature of olden times,
But
where it's like
also-
people just disappear.
also a lot of people were orphaned in that
Yeah.
town, probably.
Perline, you're a mess, and that's it. Because it's crazy that you were married.
Wasn't the
And
Pearl
summoning the
Pearl
devil.
also Pearline
Yeah, Pearl.
in that movie Pearl?
I don't know. What
The
movie?
Mia
Pearl?
Goth.
X.
Yeah, X, and then there's the sequel Pearl about the old
That was also
crazy
a
lady
really
who
interesting
used
movie
to be a
series.
young
We
crazy
watched that
lady.
whole thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She played her the whole time.
also kind of Southern Gothic. Not quite Southern Gothic. That was more of a slasher.
Yeah, more of a slasher, I'd say. So.
But there was a big house involved, and it's in the South, so feels kind of like
A
Southern
little. The
Gothic.
first one was.
That's what I think of when I think of Southern Gothic. I think of big house in the South and something spooky happens. That's about
Really
it.
cool though.
That's my criteria.
So yeah, if
Sinners,
you can,
though.
if you can see Sinners, go. I would recommend it. It's really cool and super funny.
I will say
in some parts.
you don't have to see it in the theaters. They are saying you have to see it in the theaters. If you have a semi-decent sound system,
Most people don't.
if you have any sound system and can hear music come out of your TV,
I would rather give the money back to the people who made it than like streaming services, in my opinion.
True.
That's
the
why
thing.
I'm okay with people going to see this film, because you've seen the movie, you've given it back to the creators.
Yeah,
of the
I
film.
mean that is the most. The box office is the most direct way to give money to the movie makers. So that's yeah. So that's,
how do you
but
know
then
that
again,
this was
also,
a commercial success? If you're, and I think that's how they measure if it's actually a commercial success, not if it streams well. If it goes when it goes to the box
Yeah.
office, if it
Although
does
the
well
thing
there.
is that they also don't release those metrics, so it's hard to know. It's hard to know what money goes where because
Well, I think they did pretty good.
because they don't release any information about it.
Okay.
Thanks, streaming.
Okay, so
But-
what's another film?
yeah.
What's another thing? Something else happened.
Yeah. So as I didn't talk much about the Hollow Kind, but that's a good that's a good fast-paced read. It's honestly it's too weird for me to kind of explain as a plot, but it's a lot about like legacy of like of trauma and addiction and things like that, and making deals with things that you shouldn't do. Faustian bargains. It's a classic. Kind of like The Crossroad. Ooh, connection. Southern Gothic. But yeah, what else have you seen lately?
I would say I'm still keeping up with The Last of Us. That's been really interesting. And I think that HBO does a great job at creating stylistic adaptations. So they're really talented at that. We also watched Companion. That was really cool. I really liked that as well. I thought it was interesting. I think it's like an analogy for abuse and like relationships, toxic relationships, things like that.
Yeah.
When I think about music wise, nothing's really come up to me music wise. Nothing's popped out. Coachella happened and there were really cool performances and stuff like that. Lady Gaga is gearing up for her tour, and so is Beyonce. She started her tour a couple days ago, which is going really well. Like, it looks great. So I'm sad I couldn't get any tickets. But from what I've seen, it looks great. There's also the Met Gala happening tonight, as this is being recorded, which is based on the theme is Black Dandyism, which is, again related to not this concept of sinners, but like a little bit when it comes to like Black fashion and how it evolved from the age of emancipation into what we know it to be now, and how Black people and Black men in particular, have been able to make style out of scraps of whatever they were given after the Emancipation Proclamation took place. which people didn't know about. Everybody wasn't free, until Juneteenth of like the year after or something, which is crazy. Imagine working on a plantation years later, knowing like, bro, crazy work. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I was consuming.
Walter Goggins wore a kilt at the Met Gala.
I think he's wearing Tom Brown, which is really fantastic. American designer. Tailor lots of suits. There's a lot of like sponsored. It's mostly sponsored if you're going there, which is like, the business of fashion. A lot of Tom Brown is present, which is, typical because Tom Brown does amazing tailoring. If you're thinking about dandyism, if you're thinking about like suits, Tom Brown is that person. A lot of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, I saw a fashion designer that was featured in Paris Fashion Week, an Indian fashion designer, styling Coco Jones. There were so many great stuff present there. A lot of Louis Vuitton, because Pharrell's, he's the creative director right now, and so he is, there's like, for example, he was in Louis Vuitton, so was Sabrina Carpenter. Doechii was in Louis Vuitton, a lot of Louis Vuitton. Haven't seen any Tom Ford. There's a lot of, saw some Versace, but a lot of great fashion. Dapper Dan, who's like a Louis Vuitton remixer and really put up the whole, dandyism in this more modern age. Like, he was, a lot of not pullback, but inspiration from there as well. I haven't seen anything else other than that. I think Tom Brown and Louis Vuitton and Chanel are at the forefront of a lot of what is being shown right now or being seen. And I think YSL, I think I saw YSL as well, but I don't know. And the night is young. Really cool stuff though. And a lot of black people, which is fantastic. I think the one thing I don't like about the Met Gala...
I would hope so.
Yeah,
that's my little interjection.
However, it's not as much as the years prior, and I think it's the theme that has kind of like enabled the amount of people of color to be present tonight, which is unfortunate because it's like, why not just have a diverse set of people going forward? It doesn't have to be like, I don't want to say like a DEI theme, it's not that, but it doesn't, a theme where it centers on black culture. It's like, now we get to have black people show up to this event. We have to, and not a surprising amount, but like a relevant amount of diversity is now present, with the references. For example, Quinta Brunson, she referenced Josephine Baker. Zendaya referenced Georgia May Jagger. There's a lot of references to black fashion icons of the past and, current day. Like, for example, Diana Ross was on the runway, was on the red carpet, the blue carpet. It's like, we haven't seen her in a while at the Met Gala. And her daughter, Tracee Ellis Ross, was also there as well. So it's really interesting. It's a political statement, but also like fashion and fun. And I think it's like, the first time in a while that it's been really exciting. The other time they did like religion as a theme, and they also did like florals as well. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Oh. You know a lot about the Met Gala.
I do. It's a fundraiser.
I know very little.
It's a fundraiser. It's fashion.
Fundraiser for what?
For the Metropolitan Museum.
Oh.
Yep. And a lot of designers have seats. Companies have seats. They'll send people on their behalf. So, if you see someone there, it's because they were invited by a designer or they bought their own ticket. And the tickets are like really expensive. So odds are they've been invited by a designer. There's some black designers like Tolu Croker, I hope I'm pronouncing that, from the UK. An African English designer, but like Nigerian by ethnic origin. She was styling Tyla, and I think she showed up in Tom Brown today, but she styled her yesterday, which is fantastic because her tailoring is amazing as well. So there's a lot of fashion on display. That's a diverse set of different designers, whether they're like more well known or they have bigger houses like Versace and like Louis Vuitton. So really cool stuff.
Oh. Definitely cool. Man, I am so useless on this. I'm impressed with the
knowledge.
With the amount that you can monologue on this topic. Because I'm just
a
staring
little.
at the wall here and trying to see if there's anything I can
It's
grasp
cool.
onto.
I think it's always tough because there's people who do the theme, they're either on the nose, and also they had like years ago like one that was more about like ballroom culture, queer culture, and it was about camp, which is just like over the top, exaggerated like type of vibe. And it either goes well and they actually do something that's on the nose and like is styled well and well thought out, or it's like it just sucks and they just wore what they wanted to wear. They didn't even give a fuck about the theme. So I can see there's a lot of people who gave a fuck about the theme this year, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. Do you know what Walter Goggins is wearing here and why?
He's probably wearing. Click it. Can you click the comments? I think he's wearing Tom Brown, if I'm correct. The stitching lets me know. Tom Brown.
Probably. Let's see what Reddit has to say that this is. Historical look, to be honest. Pretty sure Goggins is Welsh/Irish surname, and there is definitely a northern UK vibe to it. Why is he so hot to me? I don't get it, but he is.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Because he is hot. He's Uncle Baby Billy. I don't know who that is. Is that a reference to something?
It's in reference to Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, right. Yeah, he is in that. That's a show I've been meaning to watch.
Yep, he's wearing Tom Brown. I was right.
Oh.
I know
Good
when I
catch.
know.
None of these dorks on Reddit knew it, even though
Well,
they
I'm
were-
just a
they didn't-
fashion girl.
Fashionista. Perhaps.
Okay. Can you insert the blinking where it's like blinking?
What?
Someone blinking where it's like that blink blink and they're just looking at you like
Yeah.
it's
What
quiet,
about
yeah.
crickets? How about
Crickets,
I bet I could
crickets,
find
crickets,
a nice, I bet I
yeah,
could find
do
a
that one.
good stock
crickets.
sound.
Yeah, the Met Gala is it's like as fantastic as a wealthy gala for rich people can be, and like other designers. But like, of course, yeah, Tom Brown, Louis Vuitton, like people who are designers who are known for tailoring are at the forefront of this show, because Black dandyism has a lot to do with fine details. It has a lot to do with fine details, making sure that all aspects of it are perfect, because you're making do with what's there. So yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, definitely cool. I don't normally think about fashion all that much, but I don't know. It is always interesting to see that. I don't know. It's it's something I don't quite understand, and some other people don't understand it either. But that's kind of what art is. You know, you're allowed to put a little bit of weirdness and a little bit of it doesn't have to be minimal.
No, exactly, and I think
It
that's
can be
what's
as
cool.
extravagant as it needs to be. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not like you're trying to make a mass market version of these clothing. It's
Yes,
just,
exactly.
It's just designs. It's artistic designs, and that's something that I didn't quite understand.
She's wearing rulers. See, tailoring.
Yeah.
It's a theme.
I feel like
she's on the nose, and I think that's great. And I think that was
Oh.
Olivier. Oh, so she's wearing Olivier. So we're looking at Jenna Ortega, and she's wearing Olivier Rousting, who's behind Balmain, which is a French designer house. So she's wearing Balmain or Olivier Rousting. Yep. Which it looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
To me, it looks kind of like a
It's rulers.
disco ball.
Yeah, but
made
I think it's
out
cool.
of
It's
little
a
razor
it's a
blades.
motif. You get it.
It's kind of cool. It looks
pretty
sharp.
cool. Yeah, it does. I think last year he did Tyla, and I don't know what the theme was, but she wore a dress made of sand. I don't know what the theme was last year.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds like bullshit. Dress made of sand.
I'm literally gonna show you. It was a dress
Did
made
she
of
have to
sand.
stand very still?
Yeah, she needed help. What's it called? Going up and down the stairs, and the dress had to be cut. Yeah, Balmain.
That,
It's a dress made of sand.
bruh.
Fashion.
All right,
And
I
this year
gotta
she's
find.
wearing Tom Brown.
I gotta find pictures of
Yeah.
that after for the.
No.
What? What do you mean?
She looks good. I mean, yeah, because she looks fantastic. And then this is when they cut it.
Well,
Olivia
because
cut
I
it.
need to find pictures so the audience knows what.
Yes.
I'm talking
Okay.
about
Yeah.
afterwards.
And that. So yeah. So this
Put
is
it
what
on
it looks
the-
like. You can.
I'll repost on the Instagram.
I think it was a John Galliano. I forgot what the theme was for last year, but it was pretty cool.
Is this me developing an interest in high fashion in real time?
There's so much.
No. No, it is pretty interesting.
It's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Everything's sponsored because it's marketing and it's a gala, so you're supposed to help raise money for the Met. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh, Michael. Duh.
Whatever, I get it.
Some people are flopping. Like Carly Kloss has never been really good at this, and I'm here this year, so.
What a flop.
You should no. There's an old fashion internet meme where Carly Kloss is like, "I'm gonna show you guys what camp is," and it's like, and camp. If anyone knows what if anyone's listening, if you know what camp is, it's like over the top. It's a low key drag queen-esque. It's like avant garde. It's eclectic, and she's like wearing a tunic. Like, you're not giving a shit, mama. You're not giving a shit. It's crazy.
She was
So,
not serving.
This is
Or was she?
no, she wasn't serving.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
That's what I
good
thought.
for
My
him.
initial
I think he's wearing Hugo
supposition
Boss,
was correct.
right? Yeah. So like, and also again, like, what's cool I think now about like the Met Gala and like media itself and how big it's become, it's that there's more international artists there. So there's a couple K-pop stars, people from Thailand. You know, it's really cool. Like African American artists, African artists. It's very global. It's really cool to see how global it's really become. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely cool. Sorry to cut it short.
That's okay.
But any music going on? Any music that's filling your life up with music? Sorry,
I can really look at
I
my
have a day
Spotify.
job. All right, I'm tired. I'm working. Trying to keep the podcast narrative going.
Yeah, we can cut some of that anyways. I've been really into, okay, there's a song by Julia, if I can find it, Womp, Womp, Womp. I can't find it, guys, sorry. There's nothing. No. There's two. Okay,
Gross.
one is there's this artist, JMSN. About It. I don't think it's one of his most recent songs, but it's really good, and I really love About It. That song is fantastic. And then there's one by, I believe, Julia something, and it's really good. That one's also good. It's very emo rock and roll, and I've been loving it. And then also, I don't know if it's In My Room by Julia Wolf. That one's also really good. So she has like the Evanescence voice. It's really nice, and she's like, and she has an acoustic version of it.
Is
So
she the one in Evanescence?
No.
No.
she
She just-
just she just has that like tone, which is really cool. And then we went to a Denzel Curry concert, which was really cool. So did you talk about that at all?
Not so much. I think I mentioned.
Yeah, that was
Denzel
cool,
Curry,
and I kind of got into a couple of the songs that I'd heard. I was a fan before, but there's a song called Stick, and that's like off of Dreamville's like collaborative album from a while ago. So I like that one.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
And then also, last but not least, Feel It by David from Invincible has come back into my my music thing, and I love it. So love that show. Yeah. So those are the things that I'm listening to at this moment.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been listening to, I don't know, I didn't have a particular thing, but I have been listening to a lot of songs by the band Vacations.
Oh, cool.
They're like they're kind of like they're like alternative rock, but almost kind of like almost like sad guitar pop type of thing.
Oh, nice.
They're based out of Australia, and they became kind of famous via TikTok for one of their songs called Young, and since then they've been kind of exploding across the indie sphere. I think that Young has something like 600 million streams or something
Wow.
like that, which is very impressive for
One day
a
that'll be
band
me.
of their size. I remember I first listened to them a few years ago, and when I was looking at their top songs, they I think they maybe one of them had some over like 10 million or something like that,
Mhm.
but their popularity really spiked over the
Skyrocketed.
past couple of years, and they're still consistently making very, very good, very chill music. Great for driving or just walking around or reading or doing whatever. Just a lot of clean vocals and clean guitar
Nice.
and chill vibes. That's what I get.
I always like to be there when an artist is just like launching. It's really cool to like go to their concert and then like, you know, their next show, it's like boom, they're super not like super famous, but like they're more well known. It's like they get the recognition that they've been working towards. And I remember when I was younger, there was like a band. This is back in the days when X was Twitter, which I don't know if that makes me seem old, but oh well.
Probably not.
Not
it's
really.
Only
It was
been
pretty
like 2
recent,
years,
yeah.
Unless you're 3.
Yeah. There was a band who I was able to like
Hi, I'm
talk
Michael.
to in
This
direct
is my
contact.
3-year-old co-host.
I was able to like have direct contact with these people. It's like not like I was DMing them, but like I could get a response, and I thought that was fantastic. So it's always great to like see that. I can't think of an artist that I've seen that's popped off after. Like, damn, we really got in there.
I've usually, I've either seen none of the artists I've seen that are like local or like really indie have popped off that much yet. I've either seen local bands that continue to suck, or not suck, but stay under the radar, or already established artists that you know, that are either going strong or declining. And one of them, actually, I don't want to say declining. I was thinking of Joywave when I was thinking of declining, because they kind of I feel like they kind of hit their peak in the 2010s as far as people listening to Joywave songs. Like that song Tongues, boom, 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 boom. That was in a couple different things, but not a lot of their more recent stuff has been. It hasn't been quite in the same style, and so I don't think it's been like selling as well as like pop stuff. But they're still good.
Right?
They're not musically in decline.
I think they don't do it for the money, right? They're doing it for the. I think they're doing it for the creative.
They kind of made the money that they wanted to make, most likely.
And I think that like
this is still their full-time job.
So they're fine.
And they're in their 30s.
So they're killing
need to
it.
Keep going, but
yeah. They're absolutely fine, which is great. So.
Yeah, but I haven't
that concert was so the giant cat. Cats, man. That cat was spinning.
The Infinite Pleasure Tour, I believe it was called.
Paradise Rock.
Yeah. Good show. So
great venue.
Don't know why I associated with decline. I believe I meant more decline in popularity, perhaps. Similar thing with Slow Dive, or older shoegaze band from the 90s, and they kind of had their resurgence in the 2010s, and now they're still touring and they're still coasting pretty well on that, and they still make great music. So yeah, so now Slow Dive, Joywave, Vacations, and then what were the artists you?
Julia Wolf, oh man, and one other person that I had at the top of my list. Oh, JMSN.
JMSN.
Yep. Awesome. You guys want me to play it? I'm just kidding.
And
copyright.
on a episode with 0 views, still copyright.
Can't even. Also, I rediscovered Nerd.
Also, the robot didn't like it.
Hot and Fun by Nerd and Nelly Furtado, really great. Like, I love bass.
Demonetized. So.
No one's listening. No, it's fine.
Furtado?
Furtado. Nelly Furtado.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be racist. I really did think you said frittata, because I think I'm a little bit hungry right now.
I'm a little bit sleepy.
It's almost midnight.
And we had just stuffed our faces.
Yeah, you know what happens. You gotta get a pretty good meal in pre-podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. I think that wraps up our media section. To wrap this up, do you got any final topics? I got one little final topic.
I don't, so I'm gonna head to bed now.
Oh, okay. No, but you have to listen to me talk.
Yeah,
you have to listen to
right.
me bitch about my wrist and how much harder it is to work out now.
I'm gonna go.
No, you don't have to.
Bye.
Hey, this is a cautionary tale.
Now I'm out of here.
No, you don't have to leave.
I'm sleepy.
All right, that's fine. Whatever. I really was just gonna talk about how I hurt my wrist.
I don't care, bro. I'm tired. I really don't give a fuck.
Whatever. I hurt my wrist. I'll open with that next time, but it's healing up. So probably by the time the next episode comes out, the wrist is gonna be healed, and it's already gonna be history. Oh, we'll see if it gets cut.
Okay. If you want me to stay, can we cut it?
Oh, I don't care. We can record or we can not. 5-minute story about my wrist.
Oh, man!
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's talk briefly about my fucked up wrist. Okay?
Cool, that sounds great.
This is a life lesson for all you young weightlifters out there, trying to move up in weight. This is what I was talking about in one of the earlier For the Boys episodes about, like, you know, don't try and just like increase your bodybuilding ability at all costs, because not as soon as I went up a weight in curls, but shortly after I did, eventually it was a matter of time. I pushed too hard. I was trying to do too many reps at a higher weight, and I tweaked my wrist a little bit. But I thought, you know what, it's fine. I got a good protein intake. I can just kind of exercise through it, and it'll be okay. And then I did another session, and it was like, okay. And then the problem is that my job is spending a lot of time on the computer all day. So I got
need a wrist brace for real.
I got my...
Yeah, you may need that. Just to give it a break. Because if you're using your wrist a lot...
I'll wait till the next stimulus check. It's coming. Trust me. And I'll use it to get a wrist brace and a new Toyota Camry. How about that?
I need wheels. I need hubcaps, actually.
Yeah, you need hubcaps.
Yeah, it's scary because, you know, we're young enough where, like, we still think we're invincible to, like, you know, injuries in the gym. But, you know, I knew someone recently, like, they wrenched their back and they had to be put on opiates. Like, it's scary shit. Yeah.
I know. I'm trying
because she was angry and she was like, I can do this lift. No, she could not.
Turns out lifting angry doesn't make you consistently stronger.
No, it doesn't.
You want to do one more? Get a little mad? Sure. If you're trying to be angry the whole time, that's how you're going to overflex your wrist and sprain it. Also,
there's a point where you can't lift anymore without some sort of medical grade intervention of, like, steroids or some assistance or more training that needs to take place, or like increasing your intake of creatine and things of that nature. And if that's not your goal, then you're going to hit like a plateau of like what you're capable of doing for the most part, because it's not linear.
Yeah, when you're trying to be all natural American steel like myself, it does become a lot easier to hit those plateaus. And
which isn't a bad thing. It just means now that you know that that's your thing, you can actually work out more efficiently.
Yeah. And my other wrist is still fine. I think it was a combination of A, me trying to curl through the pain, B, continuing to tweak my wrist by having it at an awkward angle on my mouse for work all day. And then also, I think probably the real injury, most likely, as usual, came from the bench press. Because...
Which hand?
My right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so because...
I'm jorking it?
No,
I'm just kidding, guys. We're cutting that.
I don't partake in such sinful things. When I'm on the bench press, and my left arm is weaker than my right arm, and so if I don't have it balanced correctly, and if I don't realize that my left arm is giving out, my body will start to twist. And usually what either picks up the slack is either my right arm, which is okay, if I'm lifting right, or my back, which is less okay because I'm twisting my lats and my whatever back muscles there are, or it's my wrist.
I don't really like doing that type of workout. Something about the bench press and stuff, it just seems dangerous. And it doesn't give me the results that I'm looking for anyway, so it's just, for me, I like to stay away from that.
Which, to me, it brings back, this is why physical health and mental health go together. Because if you have friends, then they can come in and spot you, and then you're not trying to do these adjustments on your own.
Maybe I should be there for you then, damn. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm too busy.
Maybe next time you're
Getting
when
ripped,
you
too.
fly back across the country.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
wherever the fuck.
From from the studio in LA back to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, no, it's that's a little worrying for you.
Be
You
careful, guys. You only have one body.
If you
You really have to be careful.
and if you tweak something,
just take a break and stop.
yeah.
I
don't
usually
try-
just go home.
make
And
adjustments.
I know it's a little embarrassing.
Don't try and brute force your way through
You're
it.
not going to be
Because
able to.
now I can't curl with my right wrist at all. But the silver lining is I've been getting a lot.
You might low-key need to get like a thing where you do like that.
I mean, honestly, I've mostly just been resting it up, and it's been a lot better. Yeah, it still feels a little stiff because I think I legitimately sprained it.
Yeah,
and
so that
ignored
means like you need a week to like not have it. Yeah.
But instead, I've been getting really good at pull-ups because I switched to all overhand grip stuff because I can't do any underhand grip, or at least I couldn't because it just literally wouldn't move. But now with overhand grip stuff, I'm getting better at pull-ups, which is good because the fatter I get, the more resistance I get on the pull-ups. So it's a win-win situation, I think.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't had any. I think for me, I've always had like not like a bum knee, but I've always had a knee issue with my
Backs up when it's
with
raining.
my right high up because I got that storm telling knee. Could tell me if there's a storm coming. But I injured it in soccer years ago, and it still like acts up, and it's literally I just have to be more careful when I'm doing exercises that involve this specific knee.
Yeah, I used to have that with my left elbow because I had a hairline fracture in one of the little elbow bones, falling off a fence in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And it honestly, and it would always that was the one that would pop a lot. And when I was doing, earlier on when I was doing push-ups and stuff like that and just starting to get into some lifting, that would be the arm that would give me problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would lock up and it would hurt, and then I'd have to kind of pop it.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
hard to explain, but it would pop, and then I would be able to fully extend it and do things like that. Now I don't have quite as much of a problem with that arm, and now it's just my right wrist for now. So, but yeah, let that be words from the wise. Don't ignore injuries.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, we need to talk about it.
Oh.
1 gorilla versus 100 men.
Oh, damn.
We can just talk about this lightly. We need to talk about this.
So smart.
What side are you on? In which I think that the gorilla can take 100 men. I genuinely do.
I think your mom could take 100 men. Okay.
Your mom has.
No. Impossible.
Well, I think only because the average, if we're thinking average American, we're
How
not
many
thinking
gorillas
outliers.
can
We're not thinking. If I'm thinking, we're not thinking Dave Bautista. We're not thinking about John Cena. We're not thinking about The Rock or any other ginormous, abnormal. I'm thinking average man. No. This gorilla is going straight through 100 of you. Straight through. And he's throwing some of you to get the rest of you, okay? He's using your bones and limbs as weapons.
Here's the thing. I'm not the most, I'm not a big people person,
And no weapons. Just straight up brute force.
That's right.
They're going through you.
I don't love to, I don't love to, give humanity too much credit, but, here's the thing.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
No, don't ask ChatGPT because I'm about to lay it on you.
Oh my goodness.
Number one, 100 of anything is 100 times the gorilla's weight. So the meme around that is all around what will happen to the first guy.
Okay, yeah, he's gone.
First guy who goes in, because whether you just rush the gorilla, all 100 people at a time just pile on it.
The first guy is over. You're done.
The first guy, no matter what, whoever's up there at the front of the gorilla is at least just gets face chewed off, right?
At minimum.
And so you just don't want to be at the front, but that's the whole idea of rushing in from all sides. Because the gorilla will turn and it's like a roulette. No one really knows who's going to end up being at the front. So that's not going to be an issue. And also, you can't
That's
leave unless
funny.
you kill the gorilla. So
Oh my
that,
god.
and yeah, but it's like it's a thing where it's like it just kind of comes down to numbers and weight, because even though gorillas have a stronger than us,
The
and have a
strongest
stronger
gorilla
skeleton.
against most average American men.
Yeah, but it'll come down
The
to
ones
weight.
who work in cubicles.
I mean, just think about how many smaller gorillas would it take
And
to
play
beat
video
one
games.
bigger gorilla. And I'll tell you what, in let's scale it down.
Do
Chimpanzees.
gorillas swing on trees or no? They're too big, right?
No, they do.
They're
climb.
going through y'all
Yeah, they're going through one.
because they're agile. They're
But
gonna be.
here's-
It's
here's
gonna
the
be
thing.
fast.
Here's
We're
a
not
little
as
fun,
fast as
Here's
that.
a little fun fact about human versus other animal biology. Other animals get tired, and you might not see it by looking at me running 1 mile at the gym and then getting kind of gassed. But we're meant to be endurance creatures. So even if we're going one at a time, which is how some crazy people go like, oh, but one at a time. Eventually, the gorilla just gets tired, and it's
Maybe
just
at
going to be
20.
panting.
Like the last 20.
Yeah, how long
After
does it
you-
take to maul someone?
If
That's the
it's
question.
one punch that kills you, then what is it?
But is it one punch that-
Yes. One giant because their hands are bigger. If they punch you to.
If it's 100 humans
It's
at a
over.
time,
Okay, let's say
gorilla has no chance.
80 punches in a row. He gets tired. Okay, fine. They have
But
thumbs on their
gorillas
foot
don't
that
punch.
they can, right? They beat their chest, so they can make a fist.
Yeah, but they can't throw a punch. They don't have
Why?
the shoulder flexion for it. They don't have the right coordination. It's sort of similar coordination with
I want to
throwing.
look at a gorilla.
So they literally have to. They grab you and they'll beat you and they'll maul you. But the thing is, it's like if there's a lot of people around. Number one,
They're big.
They are
Silverback.
big,
No,
but
it's a silverback that runs. Oh my god.
I know, but you could just have 5 guys per limb.
Nah.
If it's 5 guys per limb, it's not.
This
It's
is-
just not close.
450 pounds.
You're letting fear get in the way.
They're only about 5 feet tall. Over 5 feet. Okay.
I know.
They're dense.
It's like you get a big gorilla is like 6'5".
Leave the gorillas alone.
450.
Why are you in this situation?
Yeah,
Leave them alone.
that's the thing.
Why-
They're so rare. They eat plants, and this crazy thing is just like, oh man, how many people is the gorilla gonna rip apart? Gorillas don't rip. Gorillas are real. Did you know that? Gorillas are real, and they
Seriously.
live near people.
And they
And
don't
some-
do anything.
and they
You know
don't
which
do
one?
anything.
You know what's not gonna happen? 1v elephant. It's over beyond because that elephant's just gonna.
100
elephant
is interesting.
Yeah, that would be an
Because
interesting.
an
one.
elephant skin is too thick. Like you can bite through an elephant. Punches aren't gonna do much to an elephant unless you get to like the eyes or something like that.
And then by then you're already on the horn.
Yeah, it's,
So-
for the most part, it's like you're already paced. But
Yeah.
like,
And they're smart as hell.
I think
So you're-
an elephant could get through probably like 40 or 50 people until
What
once
if it just started
gets
rolling
tired.
around?
It's tired if you're into crazy gruesome hypotheticals, the other people you go for
See,
you
now
go for
I
the
know
eyes.
that we're venturing into like Hunger Games territory.
yeah,
Society.
you're going into crazy
Because
shit.
we're like, what if we put one gorilla? We're having
I don't know,
these
just
weird
kinda going back to-
hypotheticals.
People are getting bored of UFC because UFC sucks now, and so now we're just thinking of like, let's just go straight to gladiator stuff. Let's just like breed gorillas for fighting. But yeah, that's the thing. A gorilla isn't even a bear. Gorillas aren't that big. They're big enough to kill a few. They could probably kill a few people.
One whale
But people
versus
working
100
together.
men.
Jesus Christ. On land or sea.
Land, no sea. If it's on sea,
If it's
It's
on the sea,
over.
it's tough. Bare hands, yeah, probably not a chance.
there's nothing you can do against a whale.
With
Like
your
a
bare
humpback
hands,
whale, a ginormous whale.
Not with your bare hands, no.
You're the size of its eye.
Yeah,
It's crazy that they get that
that's
big.
not true. You're not the size of its eye. Well, I mean, it's kind of close, but the point is the gorilla thing is ridiculous because a gorilla
They're
is
actually-
basically just a big.
Maybe you're
just
not
a big,
you're the length of
beefy
it,
human.
maybe. If you're the average male, average human being.
The whole thing with 100 people versus gorilla, it's fear getting in the way.
because it's just a big hairy guy, but with less coordination and more pulling strength. So just don't be the first guy to get pulled.
Yeah. Killer whale, though. One killer whale and 100 men in the water.
I feel like they kind of saw that at SeaWorld. In fact, I think that's probably how you keep SeaWorld open.
That's crazy.
Just feel like last man standing, SeaWorld.
I would never want to be
You
in
just
that
put
spot.
a-
That's scary. You're in... Nah, I'm
What
good.
was that one that killed a bunch of people?
I know
it
you
was
mean.
the- it
And
was
it
the
became
one-
the one that was...
Yeah, it was the one in Blackfish, that documentary that I was
That's
watching and
that's Free
obsessively
Willy, right?
researching. No,
No, different one. That was on NPR.
Tillicum.
Tillicum.
was the one that
In
killed
Mexico.
a bunch of people. Yeah, and but
It was
also
in
Florida.
Yeah.
And
Why
yeah,
do they
now
do
that's
that, guys? We
it's-
need to learn from history. Like, clearly they don't want to be here. Unless they need to be rehabilitated, they just leave them where they are.
Yeah, I think the idea is you don't
This
you
is
don't
sick.
you don't put an animal that with almost as much mental and emotional capacity as us in a
Especially
box.
that's distressed. Oh, God. It makes my heart hurt. Now I'm sad. We can cut before that part. But now I'm actually really sad because these animals are so intelligent.
I'm sorry, but you did get the ball rolling. I'm thinking of business opportunities with aquatic gladiator combat in SeaWorld. Actually, what you do, you take the whales out of the equation. Free all the whales. You just do what the Romans used to do in the big coliseums, and you fill up the SeaWorld thing with water, and then you have
Did they
mock
actually
sea
do that?
battles. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, they
They
didn't.
used to be able to, because they had aqueducts. They could fill parts of the Coliseum with
Are you
water,
serious?
and they would and
So
put
you know
people
what's
on
funny? They
boats.
put that in
and
the
fight people
Gladiator.
on the- Yeah, that was
It's
real.
not real.
What? It's kind of real. They did that.
Really?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I saw something historical. I'm not fucking with you on this. This is actually something that was pretty fascinating to me.
You were
just
cool
like
from
just
the get
like
go, huh?
just like deaths related to captive orcas and human hunting ancestor biology.
They were ahead of the time.
Yeah.
Can't spell
It can't
Coliseum
be
right
all
now. I'm
bullshit.
really tired. Can't
See, that's
spell
why
Coliseum.
women don't get it. They're like men will learn all about ancient Rome instead of go to therapy. But ancient Rome is pretty interesting, to be honest.
I'm not going to therapy, brother. Anyways.
They never caught an orca though,
We can cut her out.
and good for them.
Anyways,
Anyway.
this was fun.
That was good. Have I convinced you about the gorilla?
No. Actually, yes, you have. But I think we need to really question.
You just
Why-
don't want to be that first guy.
No, but also, why are we asking these questions, guys?
You're getting ready. It's fucking Thunderdome. It's about to be
This is
Thunderdome.
so
out
sad.
there,
We're at a point in
motherfuckers.
society where this is the stuff. This is the question.
Are you not entertained? Podcasts aren't going to be enough. We're gonna need flesh and blood battles between man and beast.
I'm okay. Well, thank you guys for listening in.
Thanks for listening to this extra long, extra light, and extra loose episode of On to the Next Thing. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to do a part 3 of For the Boys Advice, but I need to do a little more research, perhaps, and maybe do a little more coordination before I do something like
Maybe
that.
a
But
panel of women, perhaps.
perhaps a panel of women. Oh, I can make it one of those podcasts where I, as a man, make fun of a panel of 10 women who are all talking over each other. Those are fun, right? Maybe that's just my feed. Anyway, we're not going to do that. More content coming soon. Keep up with us on Instagram and Blue Sky and Mastodon. You guys like Mastodon? Everyone loves Mastodon. And we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.